Today will also be another question and answer series because the last question and answer I did felt like I didn't address all the questions that I have gotten. And then I remember when I started Step Up Academy, I sent out a form, and there I asked people to ask questions that they would have about graduate school. I'm doing this because I haven't found the actual time to sit down to record things about graduate school. Also because graduate school is actually graduate school. Lean me now. So if you're new, please like, share, subscribe to my channel because your subscription helps me grow, okay? But we're gonna get right into some of the question and answer series, and I'm just gonna keep doing question and answer series as I get time, just so that I could address some things. So if there are some questions that you particularly want to see me answer, please send them to me and I will make a video about them and send it out, okay? To help other people. Says, if I get admitted without funding, what are the possible means of getting funding? So first of all, I want to say congratulations in advance if you do get admitted, but I really do hope that you get the funding that you need. This is because graduate school is a lot of money, right? And you need funding. You cannot and should not do graduate school without some form of funding. So one of the things I said here is external funding. So if you want funding, it means that if there is a tendency that you will get that admission without funding, you should somehow know. A lot of people are kind of careless when it comes to funding. Like, they pay attention to everything, but they don't pay attention to funding. So when they get admission, they then begin to ask for funding. Meanwhile, the deadline for some funding applications might have passed. So it means you have to concurrently, while you're applying to schools, you also have to concurrently apply for external funding, internal fundings in the school, and then part-time works in this school. If you're able to secure this concurrently or simultaneously when you also get admission, it means that those people are likely to be able to provide you with some proof of funding, okay? So you should be able to think about funding. In fact, I advise people that if you're not clear on the funding of a particular university, don't apply to it. You might just be wasting your time there. So do not apply to it, okay? So you need to check out for external funding, internal fundings. And by internal fundings, I mean fundings that are within that university but might not necessarily be to your program. So it could just be some very generic funding like graduate assistantship, something. It might not necessarily be that this is within the program. It could even be a funding or an assistantship with another department, and they see the relevance of probably your research work or something in that department. For example, if you're doing something in, like, say, social sciences, and your department is, say, history and languages or something like that, if you don't get funding like TA-ship, RA-ship from your history department, you could get from like anthropology department, geology department, if there is a correlation, and that department covers your funding, give you the proof of fund for you to apply for your visa. I hope this helps. So sometimes don't limit yourself to just your department. Try to search and email other people, but do this way ahead of time. Like I would always say, prepare. So by the time you are submitting your application, you should already have made some connections, asking them, oh, I'm in this department, I'm applying to them. Is there an opportunity for funding here? If I get this admission in this department, can I get this TA-ship? Can I get this? So if there is that opportunity, they can queue you in. Some departments are actually looking for TAs to teach some of the courses that they have, okay? So you might want to make this research to find out neighboring programs that kind of suits what you're doing so that you get funding. I hope this helps. The second one says, I have a 2-2. I also find the process of application difficult, and I would love to get full funding for my schools. So these are 3 different things in one question. I have a 2-2. Your degree has, I want to say 0%, but I might be wrong. Your degree sometimes do not have any correlation as to whether you get admission and whether you get funding. Honestly, I want to say this honestly. But I might be wrong, because depends on the school, depends on the program, depends on maybe when they check your transcript and they see that some required courses that it would have been okay for you to pass in maybe your undergraduate or your master's level, you didn't pass them, that might hinder you. But the 2-2 might not necessarily hinder you. I don't know if this makes sense. So it could be that if they need you to pass quantum physics, but you did not pass it, they might not take you for the engineering program. Not necessarily the 2-2. It could just be that there is a requirement or a prerequisite that you did not pass, and it reflects in your transcript, because that's why transcripts are asked for, so that they see the courses you've done before. So 2-2, not necessarily. I would still say go on full steam, apply for masters, apply for PhD, whatever you want to do. Okay, apply. I find the process of application difficult. Application process is tedious. Not necessarily difficult, it's tedious. It's a lot. Like it's a lot. Especially if you're applying to more than one school, it's a lot. I want to agree with you. But here is the thing. If you make plans 1 year ahead and say, these are the schools I want to apply to, this is the research I want to do, this is the area I want to, if you make this kind of plan, chances are you're on the right path. And because you're on the right path, it makes the process easier for you. You are not stranded. You are not wondering what will become of this application process. Sometimes you might have even gone ahead to make connections with some of the professors that you need to apply. Some people start researching, start applying, start writing their statements when the portal has opened. At that point, it's not just that the application process is tedious, it is that they are under tension. And so they are not able to coordinate themselves. So I like to say, before the next academic session that you are aiming for, start 1 year ahead. Start 1 year ahead. That's why with Step Up Academy, I started with most of them as at January, February, so that they would have some of these things already on ground. And then once the portals of these schools open, they begin to apply. So that is your best bet, okay? And it says, I would love to get full funding. Full funding is available. I don't know about other countries. I really have some biases when it comes to some countries because I have my own fair share of experiences. But in the US, it's quite straightforward. Let's say you're going for a research intensive program, a STEM program, or a language program, and they really need that language there, or a literature program or history program. There's some of these very weird, not necessarily, I don't want to say weird, but it's like subtle programs. It doesn't look it, but it is it. Like if you go to those departments, there are fundings available there, in the arts, in social sciences, in STEM programs. People think it's only STEM programs that have full funding. That's not true. That is not true. So you need to make good research. Some schools have full funding. Some will tell you it's partial funding, while some will say if you get this admission, we're not giving you funding. Which is why I would always say make sure that you have your funding information correct for each school you are applying to. Don't assume. If it's not clear, email the program director, ask them and say, what is the funding situation of this particular program like? Okay? And so finally, because I don't want the video to be long, the third one says, do Canadian international students get fully funded scholarships for taught courses? It's tricky because I think taught courses are just treated as that, taught courses. And taught courses means that you are not doing anything thesis, you're not doing anything research, you're just going there to learn. I think it's a bit difficult to secure funding for that, and that's the reality of things. So I know in the UK there are Commonwealth scholarships, Chevening scholarships. I don't know if there is any other one. Those scholarships cover for taught programs, so you might want to face the UK. For Canada, most of the people I've heard in Canada that do taught courses, they don't have funding for that. There are rare cases. I'm sure there will be rare cases, but I'm just, this information I'm giving you is like my own knowledge. It doesn't like cover for everybody, okay? So, but in the US, it's also same thing. It's not possible. I have friends here that came in for a thought program. They don't want to do thesis, they don't want to do anything. It's not funded. In fact, in the US, those kind of programs is even difficult. Like when you now come in to say, oh, I want to get an assistantship for that course, sometimes they don't give it to you. So you might have to find menial jobs, part-time jobs and things like that. They don't give you, because sometimes when you now come in, you begin to see where there are fundings available and you want to apply there. Sometimes they don't give it to you. So I might just say, even if you don't want to go for something tedious, a master's degree is still, a master's degree that has thesis based is still okay. It won't hurt you, okay? And if you come in and you think that you can't cope, just speak to your program director and then they realign you. But just so you know that when you are talking about funding, it's like this. Like so when it comes to funding, I used to say it's like, I have money, but I want to invest this money. Do you think I will invest this money where I will get profit or not? I would definitely go for where there's profit. So just think about it in that light. Like if what you are proposing to them seems like it's not going to benefit them, you might as well not get that funding. So just think about it in that light, okay? And I will see you in another video.